It's time once again to interview a coach on the Sports Couch Show, brought to you by People's National Bank, serving you with locations throughout Southern Illinois, member FDIC and equal housing lender, and by Mt Vernon Title Company. When you need title work or real estate closings or contract for deed work, Mt Vernon Title Company. Hello again, and welcome to the Sports Couch. On this edition of the show, we're going to be talking about some long-distance running with a local athlete. And you might think we're going to talk to somebody that's in high school or college or maybe junior high. No. This runner that we're going to talk to, this athlete we're going to talk to, is actually retired, and he's 77 years old. And he's somebody that a lot of you in the Mt Vernon, Jefferson County area already know, but for those of you who don't know him, you'll get introduced to him right now. We're talking with Mike Beard. Mike, great to have you on the Sports Couch today, and let's talk about running because you've been doing a lot of it.
Yes, I have, Randy. Thank you very much for inviting me. This is kind of a neat deal. I started running a few years back and kind of fallen in love with it, and it gives me a chance to be competitive and to compete against myself and to make sure I get up off the couch and get up and go do something. A few years back, I had some back issues, and I couldn't even get across the street, and it scared me I was going to get ran over by a car. So when I got my back working, I wanted to make sure that my legs worked also, where I could get across that street and not worry about getting hit by a car. So that was one of my emphasis to really get serious about running.
Well, that is just a really amazing story because you and I were talking before we went on air here, and you know, I assumed that you were going to tell me that, you were quite a track star, a cross-country guy in junior high or high school, maybe even college, but that's not the case. You didn't run at all in school, right?
No, not at all. Started about 12, 15 years ago. I refereed for many years. So you run a lot then, but it's not really running. And then I quit refereeing, so lost that, and I rode bicycles for a while and kind of got tired of that because it's not safe out here on these roads. These drivers don't like bicycles very much, and so I kind of stumbled almost literally into running, and it's just kind of one of those things you get used to and get to doing and get competitive, and I kind of like doing it.
So, folks, listen to this. This guy has been running 5Ks. That's kind of your sweet spot, isn't it? 5Ks?
Yeah, 5Ks. I do about one a month.
Yeah, and he's been doing this all over the Midwest. You've traveled. In fact, you've traveled all the way out to Vegas, right?
Well, I have a daughter that lives in Las Vegas, so I've been out there and I've ran 3 runs out there, 1 10K and 2 5Ks. One of them was last September. It was on the anniversary of the shooting out the window of the resort, out into the casino, out into the concert that was going on. Yeah, that was on October the 1st. Well, they have a run out there called Vegas Strong every year, and a lot of the first responders that were actually there that day, and some of the people that were actually involved in it were in the race, and it was a neat run.
So 5K is your sweet spot. You can run longer than that, but you don't really care to, and you could run shorter than that, but you don't care to. You kind of feel like that 5K distance is really kind of what you feel most comfortable with.
Very much so. In fact, it was kind of funny. The first time I went over to St. Louis to run the St. Patrick's run on St. Patrick's Day, March 16th, they always have a big run the same day they have the parade, and I thought it was a 5K. And I got over there, and it was a 5 mile. So that was the first surprise I had on getting going more than 3.1.
Yes, right.
It was 5, and from 4 to 5 was a difficult run. So, but we got to the finish. Terry Sledge, local guy here in town, and I went. And I told him it's a 5K. When we get over there, it's a 5 mile.
Right, yeah. So those of you who don't understand the metric system, 5K is roughly 3.1 miles. Exactly. So yeah. So how do you train? How do you prepare for this, Mike? And you said you've been doing it for, 12, 15 years now. So how do you prepare for this?
Well, I didn't really get serious about preparing and training for it until recently, because as you get a little bit older, you got to prepare a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I go to go work out, do a lot of body work on my stomach. I'm very vain. I want to try to keep my stomach as flat as possible. So running helps with that, but also doing a lot of those twists and crunches and so forth helps out a lot. So I do that. I run the treadmill in the wintertime. Of course, a couple of my runs are outside, and one of them's in December, and it's cold in December in Forest Park when I did the hot chocolate run. But mainly that. Now that it's warm, I get outside and I'll do about a mile a day. The week of, I'm getting a little lazy, to be honest with you, but I think I'm in good enough shape now that I don't have to do it 7 days a week. So the week of a run, I start running on Monday, and I run about a mile a day all the way through until Thursday, and then I rest, and then I go run on Saturday. So again, my body's getting into the shape now that pretty well knows what it's supposed to be doing, and when we get there, we know what to do.
So if you missed it at the top of the show, folks, he's 77 years old, and he's running these 5Ks pretty consistently, many times week after week. It really is incredible. So you do some basketball refereeing too, right?
I started this first year back. I refereed all through college and for 17, 18 years when I was in Missouri. And then I got hurt in a skiing accident one year at the end of my season. So I decided to hang up my whistle, and I walked away and stayed away from it until now, until last year. It's kind of funny. I'm 77, and I go to these basketball meetings, and they always go around the room asking, how long have you been refereeing? And a lot of these elderly gentlemen, 42 years, 15 years, 29 years. I go 3 months. That's how long I've been back in the business at that particular meeting.
That's great.
But I did have a lot of experience refereeing, and I got back into it this year, mainly calling junior high. Called about 107 basketball games.
Wow.
So if you want to earn a few extra dollars and do a little running in, go get you a black and white striped shirt. Yep. Come to the association meetings. They help you with the test, and so you learn a lot about basketball, and they even have some good clinics. In fact, I'm going to be going to one in Benton next week. They have a 2-day one down there on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'll be down for that. So, I've been doing a little of that and then volleyball just because I want to and because I can.
Yeah. Well, there's such a shortage of officials, of referees. I mean, there's really a need for them.
Yeah, there is, and I've noticed that this year, once again, in September of last year, I didn't have a single game, and in March, I'd called 107 games. So there's a shortage somewhere because they didn't know me from apple butter, and of course, I don't know anybody when I go in there. That's a good thing about being a new referee. Yeah. Nobody's mad at you about anything because you didn't make them mad last year.
There's no bias.
There's no bias until the ball goes up, and then the bias starts instantly.
All right. Well, back to your schedule of all these 5Ks you run. So I'm assuming you must be part of some 5K group or something because you seem to know where all these are taking place at. How do you get notified to know when there's 5Ks to go run it?
Well, you know how social media is. If you put right now talking about it, I'll pop up probably on your phone and mine 4 or 5 more 5Ks that I don't even know about. Yeah. But unfortunately, the small ones like the one I just ran in this weekend down at Cesar, you almost just have to know that it's going on. Okay. Unless somebody tells you. Yeah. Another one I ran was down in the country. I forgot this little small town, and I've refereed with one of the guys, and he was the one to put the race on. And I said, "Well, let's come and join you." So that's how I found out about that one. Okay. The bigger races in St. Louis, the Cardinal Foundation, of course, is national television, or not national, but St. Louis television advertised, and then the Hot Chocolate is a series that goes through across the United States, and once you get on that, you're on that all the time on social media. And then there's a rock and roll series also that I ran in, so now I get notified of all of them. So, but from a standpoint of local, no, it's just little old me going out there for a little old 5K run.
We are visiting with Mike Beard from Mount Vernon. He's 77 years old. He loves running 5Ks. He's been doing it really all over the Midwest and even as far away as Las Vegas. The thing about it is, Mike, you're not just participating in these 5Ks and running in them. You're actually winning a lot of them in your age group, aren't you?
Well, a lot of times I'm the oldest person in the run, and so quite often there's not many people above the 70 mark, and so I have a tendency to come in the top 3 pretty easy most every time. This past weekend down in Cesar, they had a 75 was the break, and I'm 77, and there was another gentleman that was 77. I got mad at him because he's the same age, and I wasn't the oldest one. So, but anyway, I forgot where I was going with that story, but anyway, we'll move on.
That's okay. Yeah. Of all the different races that you've been to, different places where you've run, what would you say would be some of your highlights and some of your favorite, and maybe your best accomplishments that you want to talk about?
Well, there's almost a story after every race.
Well, I'm sure there is.
Because I like to look around and see things, so I may see things that other people don't see. But highlight would be that run on in Las Vegas on the Strip at night with all the lights on, and there were people literally along all the sidewalks just cheering us along, and there was like 4,000 people that were running. So it was just, you just get caught up in the moment. That's always a big run, an exciting thing. The other day I was up at up at Odin.
Okay.
And Odin, there's a Sugar Creek Fire Department up there, and they have a fundraiser. Been going on for like 20 years. And once again, I always size up my competition and look at the age. Well, there was a gentleman there that was 78. God dang him, he was older than me, so I was having to run against him. He took off and went by me so fast that all I saw was him going around the corner, and I never saw him again until the end. He beat me by 11 minutes.
No kidding.
78 years old.
Wow.
I ran my time of 37 and a half.
Yeah.
11. I couldn't have caught him with a pickup
Wow.
truck. He was amazing.
You had idea where he's from?
Centralia.
Centralia, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
He,
impressive.
he's been running for a long time. I think he winters in Arizona, but
great.
that was kind of the highlight of the run. This guy's the fastest man I've met, and I'll never win that race as long as he's around. But as again, almost every run has a funny story off of it, or something exciting happening.
Yeah. What about the weather? I mean, sometimes, particularly in the summertime, it's hot. So how do you pace yourself? How do you stay hydrated? I mean, what do you do?
Well, the good news is they're always in the morning, so it's before it gets really, really hot.
Yeah.
And there's not many of them in July and August, so that kind of makes it a little more safe not to have to worry about that. Hydration, you drink a lot before. They always have water on the route. About halfway through, they've got a water station, and you get a chance to slap some in your face and put some down your belly if you need to. And I have found out that water is a fuel for your body. You don't wait till you're thirsty to drink when you're exercising. You drink to fuel your body. I learned that the hard way. That's what causes cramps. And whenever you finish a race and you get cramps, Mike, you didn't drink enough water.
Dehydration.
Dehydration beats you up.
Yeah.
So anyway, about every race, once again, a beautiful race I did was in Belleville, and they took us through the old streets of Belleville, old cobblestone streets and stuff, and little things like that. I like looking at the scenery as much as anything. One of the Cardinal Foundation runs, they took us down. We ran along the Mississippi River.
Neat.
How often do you do that?
That is great. That's
so
really
this
cool.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's your doctor say about this? You must have a healthy heart.
Well, I do. In fact, I go through the VA. I'm a veteran, and I just came back from a physical. My blood work is all completely perfect. No issues at all. They said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I don't try to do that.
Yeah. Are there some places that you would like to run that you haven't been to yet that you look forward to participating in maybe?
No, not really. I was in Florida for a month hanging out with some friends, and I saw it was a run down there, so out of the blue I just went over and joined that run. It was a lot of fun. It was just kind of spontaneous. I didn't prepare for it other than being in shape. But no, going back to Vegas to do the 10K again next February with my daughter. But other than that, right now, I look, and if there's one close by, I'll go run it if I can. If I haven't, I try to do about one a month. I don't want to do much more than that because the body gets pretty tired.
Yeah. Do you have anybody in the local area that sometimes goes along with you and either runs with you or at least watches as you're running? Or
I'm solo. I take off and I go, and I come back when I'm finished. No. Now, this past weekend, there was a gal from Mt Vernon that's in Rotary Club here with me. She did come down and walk. She's wanted to get into it, and I had told her about it. So she came down and walked, and I only beat her by 5 minutes, so I don't know whether I want her to go back or not. She might to beat me the next time.
So you said your time usually runs roughly 37 and a half minutes for the 5K?
About a 12-minute mile.
Okay.
12, a little under that sometimes, but if I can stay at 36, 37, I'm in good shape. I haven't been above 38 this year.
Wow, that's great.
Last year I averaged about 36.5.
Okay.
And I'm a little slower this year, but
Okay.
that's okay. I'm doing about 37.4, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. We were also talking off mic here a little bit before we started. You were talking about the difference between running on a treadmill and running out in these races. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting phenomenon, I guess, of physics. I guess it is, because when you run on the ground, you have to push your body forward. Nothing. When you're on a treadmill, you stand there and the treadmill pulls your feet back. And you just have to keep up with that treadmill, letting him pull your feet back. So you're not really pushing yourself forward. And that's one of the things. I can run on a treadmill and not hardly get winded. Because I'm not having to exert. When I run, first of all, when I do a 5K, I don't run the entire time. All right, I pick a mile mark or a post out there, and I walk from here to there, and then I run from there to the next one. Telephone poles or utility poles are very good. So I run as hard as I can between one, then I walk as fast as I can to the next one, and that keeps my cardiovascular coming and going. But on a treadmill, I hardly ever get winded because I'm not pushing. My legs are just going backwards.
Makes sense. I bet you've met a lot of interesting people in going around and run these 5Ks, right? I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah, there's just all kinds of different folks out here in this world, and one gentleman carries an American flag everywhere he goes and runs the whole time. Up in the Odin race, there's a gentleman that pushes a person that's handicapped in a wheelchair and circles the lap the first time, and if you pass him the first time, you get a free entrance into next year's thing.
Yeah.
So just little odds and ends, things like that. In the St. Patrick's Day parade, there's always some characters in that. They've got their music boxes, and they'll be pulling a keg down the doggone street in a wagon with everybody with their hoses drinking and running. That's what the 20-year-olds do when they run 5 miles.
Okay.
Not me. I wasn't over there. Yeah, but there's always somebody that you spot.
What are some other events you're looking forward to participating in yet this year coming up?
Well, it would be I've got one scheduled for October to go back out and see my daughter. I think I'm going to do that the 1st of October
in Vegas.
Vegas, and then the hot chocolate run in December, and I've got some more of them written down, but I can't remember where they are right now. Yeah. But if one pops up, I'll go. I ran over at Albion a couple of years ago, but I wasn't able to go last year. So if I can do it, I'll go back over to Albion. That's this nice little sweet town and a nice little run. They've got a couple of 3 little quick hills back in the back that make you wonder why you're doing it, but the rest of it is pretty flat and pretty easy. I like to do flat runs. I'm not a big hill person.
Don't like the hill person.
I'm not a hill person. If I can go for a run and I had to make a choice, I would go to the flatlands.
You know, doing what you're doing with this running, particularly at your age, I mean, this is a sport where you have to be self-motivated because there's nobody else pushing you. It's not a high spectator sport like football or basketball. You've got to be totally self-motivated to do this. Why do you think that you have become self-motivated to this? Is because maybe your background or where you worked at? Or?
Well, I've always been self-motivated.
Yeah, okay.
I've been a self-starter. I've worked for myself.
In sales?
In sales. I affectionately used to say I had to kill to eat.
And you got to be self-motivated to do that.
You just got to go. And I'm vain. I like to be healthy. I don't want to have to be a burden on anyone and be unhealthy. And exercise helps avoid some of those things. And I don't know. Just because everybody's got to be doing something, and this is what I happen to be doing.
When you look back at your life now, though, do you sometimes wonder or maybe wish that, what if I would have been a runner in high school, or if I would have tried to run in college? Did you ever think about that?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
No, I'm perfectly just everything the way it's kind of just happened. Things happen for a purpose sometimes, and this has just sort of evolved. But no, because I don't like to run at all. I won't go out here and just go run. I'm not about to do that. If I don't have a 5K to go run to, that's timed.
Right.
If it's not timed, I won't go. I'm not going to go out there and run just because I enjoy running.
It's the competition that you like.
Competition. I run to compete with myself, to make sure that I can still compete with myself.
Got it.
100%.
That's a great story. Great story, Mike. I really appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add for our listeners?
No, everybody's welcome to join. $25, and that's a good thing about 5Ks. They're always for a nonprofit organization. They're a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity not only to have fun and run, but to get to help an organization with their
give back to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
awesome.
every one of them are that way, and I feel good about that. But if it's not timed and the mic's not going.
Well, Mike, I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You're an inspiration to me. I mean, I just can't believe it, what you've been able to accomplish. I think it's fantastic, and keep doing what you're doing, right?
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.